Good morning, students. I'm Ganga teacher, and this week we are going to start with our first history lesson. I'll be taking up history for you, and let us now see how our history textbook looks like. And I've sent you the link already for the history textbook yesterday. So we have our history textbook. This is how our history textbook, history and political science book looks like. And let us now see what are the contents and what is the format that the board pattern paper pattern is for. The board paper pattern is for, okay, let's first go to the contents. We have a total of 9 chapters for history, and we will be directly starting with the 4th chapter, history of Indian arts, because the weightage from the 4th chapter to the 8th chapter is more with options. The first, second, and the third chapter will be dealt with a little later. We have the 4th chapter, history of Indian arts. But before we start this, let us try to find out how exactly is the marks allocated in the paper. We have a total of 50 marks for history, 28 marks history, and political science it is 12 marks. Political science it is 12 marks. History 28 marks, political science 12 marks. So total written paper will be for 40 marks. You have an assignment for 10 marks, and once you submit your assignments, you can get total 10 marks, 10 on 10. So we have total marks allocated is 50 for history and 50 for geography. That makes it 100. Let's now move over to the 4th chapter. We have, the name of the chapter is the history of Indian arts. It's on page number 31. You need not open your textbook, just focus on the concept maps and the charts which I am going to show you. We are going to deal with what is art, Indian traditions of visual arts. That is the first part of it. When we speak of the word arts, what comes to our mind is the different art forms like dancing, music, architecture, sculpture, theater, drama. All these are the different art forms. So the chapter is related to Indian arts. First of all, let us define what is art. Here we have a question, explain the concept of art. Art is actually man's natural desire. It is man's natural desire to express. Man decides to express or share his experience, his wisdom, and his emotions through art. When he's very happy, he sings a song or he creates a beautiful painting. And when he expresses his ideas in a beautiful way, it results in creating something. And that creation is called or described as art. Let's revise once again. Art is man's natural desire. Man expresses his thoughts, feelings, his emotions in a beautiful way, creates something, and that will be called as an art. Let's go ahead. We have, how does man generally express his feelings creatively? Just now we have discussed dancing, painting, architecture, sculpture, music. All these are the different types of arts. Let us list out what are the factors that influence an artist's creation. Last year, you know what concept map is, and here also you have many concept maps for 2 marks. These concept maps are easy, they help you to understand the chapter in a better way. Here you have the first concept map, factors that influence an artist's creation. What are these factors? First is power of imagination. When an individual has good imagination power, he is able to create better. He should be sensitive to the things that are happening around him. God's gift or talents or skills again helps an artist to create better. Emotions. An art is nothing but an expression of man's emotions. So there are four factors. There's a concept map for 2 marks, half a mark each. Sensibility, skill, 2S, emotions, and power of imagination. Let us go ahead. Our next concept map. Let us try to understand what are the types of artistic creations. We have Sanskrit words through which the artistic creations are described. The first one is visual art, which is also known as Drikkala. And in Drikkala, you have painting and sculpture. Visual arts, Drikkala, painting and sculpture. We also have the second group, that is performing arts, Lalit or Angika Kala, where an individual uses his limbs, sense organs, in order to portray something. You have dance, music, drama, or theater, again coming up in this category. Let's revise the first and the second point. Art is something created by man to express his emotions. Power of imagination, sensibility, skills, and emotions are four factors that influence an artist's creation. There are two types of arts, artistic creations, visual arts and performing arts. Drikkala, visual arts, performing arts, Lalit or Angika Kala. Let's go ahead. Visual art is very old. It goes back to Stone Age man. Paintings of Stone Age man have been found in various places, and this point will be dealt with at a later stage. Let's come to the third concept map here. We have two distinct traditions of art. We have folk art and we have classical arts. What is a folk art? Something, a creation, when it happens naturally, spontaneously, it's called a folk art. For example, a lady starts singing a song while she's working in a farm. Another lady joins in. Together, they compose a beautiful song. Folk arts are generally transmitted from one generation to another generation orally, but they are very important because they come under oral sources of history. Classical arts. Now, when you talk about classical arts, you have something like Bharatnatyam. You can't learn it in one day, it doesn't come naturally. You have to have the skill, and then you have to get trained under a master or under a teacher. And prolonged training is required not to master an art, and that becomes a classical art. Hindustani music, classical music, etc., come up under classical arts. So we have completed two concept maps, children. These two concept maps, you have to draw it in your notebook. Every artist has his own style of working. And when this style gets adopted by many artists over a long period of time, it will become a tradition. The Hindi word which can be used, you must have heard the word gharana. When it comes to Hindustani music, there are various gharanas. Even while playing various instruments, they have their own styles. And different styles, various art styles developed in every culture, typical to a particular region in different time periods. Now let's talk about the art of painting. Painting is something that is two-dimensional. You have length and breadth. Paintings are generally, you have nature paintings, object paintings, paintings of human beings. So these are the subject matter. Nature paintings, you have still life. Object painting, again, you have still life. Human beings, you have portraits that are drawn. What is the surface on which a painting is done? Rocks, walls, papers, canvas, earthen pots, and so on. The painting that you can see on your left side is the painting that is found in the cave of Ajanta caves. It is the mural or the painting of a bodhisattva, image of a Buddha, and it is considered to be one of the best or a finest example of a painting. Let's move ahead. We have a question in the textbook, a detailed 4-mark question, folk styles of paintings. There are 10 points in this particular question, in this answer. You must be familiar at least with 8 points to write a complete answer. Let's talk about folk paintings. Rock paintings are found in many countries. They date back to Stone Age. In India, these Stone Age paintings are found in Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. We have different states where these paintings are found. And The rock painting at Bhimbetka is very famous. It's a World Heritage Site. I've given you 3 YouTube links, and after we finish this session, you can go through the YouTube links and find out more about Bhimbetka, how Stone Age man was involved in the first painting. The rocks that are there at Bhimbetka caves, their beautiful paintings have been done by Stone Age man. Rock paintings depict or show human, animal, and geometric figures. So 5 points we are covering. Found in many countries, dating back to Stone Age, found in India and Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Bihar, Karnataka, and Telangana. Bhimbetka is very famous, and rock paintings show human, animal, and geometric figures. Let's go ahead. Some more aspects about rock paintings have been discussed. Rock paintings have been found right from Stone Age time to the beginning of agriculture. But it didn't remain the same. We noticed that there is a change because human beings started giving importance to all the details and he became a better painter. Animals and plants have been depicted or they have shown in a different way. The colors that were used for painting also started changing. Generally, black, red, and white colors, which were made from natural substances, were used to portray these paintings. Rock paintings are important, they become material sources of history. When you look at the paintings of age old times, you gather information about the knowledge that the people had, also about what they knew about their surroundings, and how the people exploited or used these available resources. Their lifestyle is very clear when you have a look at these paintings. We know that they were involved in hunting, agriculture, dancing, how marriages were performed. So many small customs, traditions we come to know through these paintings. That's why they become important material sources of history. Folk paintings were also used by people to decorate their house walls, courtyards, etc. For example, Varli painting. Examples of folk paintings, you have Varli painting and Chitrakati. We come to the end of this session, children. Now, for more information, there are 3 YouTube links which I've given here. I will be putting it up on the WhatsApp group separately so that you can open these links and you can watch these 3 videos. We have an assignment or homework for you. Question number 2.1 and 6.1 from the textbook has been covered in this video. I have used very simple language so that you learning of the answers in the form of bullet points will become very easy. You can pause the video for a minute and then copy down the answer from the video. There are 3 concept maps which are shown in the video. Draw these 3 concept maps in your notebook. So it's easy to revise the concept maps during your board exam. Thank you for being attentive, children. Thank you for being attentive, children. I hope you have understood the concept. Read the textbook. All the points are given well in the textbook. View the video once again in order to understand the points. The language in the textbook, sometimes some words, meanings are not very clear. I have tried to simplify these meanings so that you will be able to write your answers well. Thank you. Have a nice day.